How many times have you said this? What if I had taken that job? What if I had gone to that school? What if I had left earlier? What if I had tried harder? Now let me ask you something. Why are you still asking what if when you are still alive? No, really. Why are you grieving alive? You still have the ability to build. Because today I'm going to say something to you that's very simple, very uncomfortable, and very freeing. You may not have a what if problem, you may have a refusal to move problem. And before you get defensive, stay with me. What if feels deep? It feels like reflection, it feels like growth, it feels like you're being honest with yourself. But let's slow down. Is it? Or is it something else? What if is one of the most emotionally safe spaces a human being can live in, because nothing is required of you there. In your what if wonderland, you don't have to start, you don't have to fail, you don't have to be seen, you don't have to be judged, you don't have to risk anything, you can only just imagine. Let me ask you something. When you imagine your what if life, does it ever go badly? Or are you always loved, successful, seen, thriving? Exactly. So what are you really missing? Is it the life, or is it the fantasy of a perfect version of that life? Let's break this down properly. You say, what if I had become a musician? Or what if I had stayed longer at trying to become a musician? Okay, let's play that out honestly. Do you also imagine the years of obscurity? Do you also imagine the rejection? Do you also imagine the doubt? Do you also imagine the financial instability and possible bankruptcy? Or do you skip to the stage, the applause, the recognition, the fame? What if you had married that girl who you were so sure is the love of your life? Do you also imagine her possibly cheating on you? Do you also imagine her possibly disregarding your feelings, falling out of love with you, leaving you? Do you imagine losing a child together and drifting apart? Or do you only fantasize about the happily ever after you are so sure it would have been? What if you had taken that job? Do you imagine being sexually harassed by a boss? Do you imagine being so overwhelmed by it, you start to drift away from your relationship or family? Do you imagine dying of a work hazard? Or do you only fantasize about the cars you would have been driving, the city you'd be living in, the fame you would have had? Be honest. What if is selective memory for a life you never lived? You take the best parts and you delete the cost. Think about your biggest what if. I want you to say it in your head right now. Now ask yourself, did I ever imagine that version of my life failing? Or was it always perfect? That answer matters because you see, the thing you're regretting isn't even real. You don't regret the life you did not live. You regret a version of that life where nothing went wrong. And I'm not saying do not regret. I'm saying be honest about what you are regretting. Now let's talk regret and inaction. Because people love to say, no matter what you choose, you may regret what you didn't choose. No matter what you choose, you may regret what you didn't choose. I don't agree, or at least not in the way people think. There are two types of regret, in my opinion. There is regret that leads to movement, and there is regret that leads to stagnation. Most people live in the second. Regret says, this matters to you. That's it. That's all it's supposed to do. But instead of using it, people sit in it. People decorate it. They revisit it. They build identities around their regret. They build their regrets an entire estate. Let's talk about regret that leads to movement. Let me ask you something. What is something you've been regretting that you did not do for years that you have not yet acted on at all? That's not regret. That's avoidance. That's laziness. That's indecision. That is doubt. That is fear. That is not regret. Some of you are not stuck in regret. You are simply choosing not to move. And I know you have reasons: timing, money, responsibility. I'm not dismissing these, but I'm asking you, within your reality and your capacity, have you done anything? Anything at all? Because there is a difference between I cannot do it and I am not doing it. Because there is a difference between I cannot do everything and I am doing nothing. In the last 6 months, what have you done toward the life you say you missed? Be honest. If the answer is nothing, then the truth is life did not stop you. Every day you wake up and you choose to stop yourself. I've made choices that did not optimize my life, but regretting them is a waste of precious time, because in those moments I did not know better. And you see, some of the time too, we also regret happiness just because it was not forever. I regret loving this person, doing this or that, but in that time you were happy though. And I refuse to look back at a version of me that was fully present and call her a mistake. You are not too late. I am not too late. You are not too late. You did not become what you thought you would be. Maybe I did not become what I thought I would be. You didn't become a dancer in your teens. Okay, now what? You did not become a doctor at 23. Okay, now what? You did not take that opportunity. Okay, now what? You did not start early. Okay, now what? Do you see the pattern? Life is not asking you to go back. It's asking you to respond. And it is asking you to respond now. Take the course. Move to that city. Go back to school. Take the dance class. Join the gym. Let me ask you this. What is one thing, one small thing that you can start today that moves you even 1% closer? That's it. That's all it takes. That's 1% today and another 1% tomorrow. That's all it takes. Movement, continuous movement. You will always have other lives you could have lived. You will always imagine the other lives you could have lived. That's part of being human. But those lives are not your responsibility anymore. This one is. So no, I don't believe in sitting in what ifs. I believe in this. If I'm alive, I move. If I want something, I go. If I missed something, I adapt. If I feel regret, I change something. And if I don't, then I don't get to sit there and mope and mourn it. I do not wish. I do. You don't have a what if problem, you have a choice. And maybe it's about time you made one. Finally, the best place you can be is where you are right now. And the second best place you can be is where you will find yourself as soon as you take action. It has been my pleasure as always to sit with you. This has been the Human Mirror. Look closely. You were never invisible. I'll see you in the next reflection.